It is difficult to define wisdom. It is something intangible, and we can only come close by saying that an act is wise, or that a person is wise, or rather full of wisdom. Often, in this too there is difficulty. Whether a man, or an act, is truly wise or not can only be seen long after the act is past or the wise man is no more. And even this is in doubt. In this regard we see an interesting example when we consider Aristotle. It is evident that in his times, Aristotle was recognized as a wise man. But much of his knowledge has been refuted since, and he has been dethroned several times. It is odd that other men through the ages have alternatively praised Aristotle and condemned him. In some ways, the debate is still going on, more than 2,000 years after Aristotle himself is no more. And it looks like it will go on till the end of time. The same that is said of Aristotle and his doctrines can be said of other wise men like Pythagoras, Plato, and even recent wise men like Francis Bacon and Isaac Newton. It is awkward to consider a man as a wise man on account of some of the great things that he said and then come face to face with other silly things that he said. Thus we see that the great Pythagoras, who founded great truths in mathematics, also forbade his followers from eating beans. At times like this we wonder whether he is a wise man given to short spells of being ridiculous, or just a ridiculous man with short spells of wisdom. Based on this, can we define either he was wise or otherwise? Coming to the East, if we just take a wise man at random, say Confucius, we see that not everything he said was wise, even for his time. But most of what he did leave us is indeed wise, even today. Now comes another dilemma: who decides whether a man is wise or not? If we, then it stands to reason that we must be wise too, since we can judge these great men. Then again, we are apt to accept as wise only what we think is practical for our age, and mostly if we are in agreement with the words of a wise man. So it looks like ultimately what we consider as wise is what we are in agreement with. Isn't here a possibility that we are all wrong? Certainly we cannot know as yet. Another discussion is possible. If some good comes out of a man's teaching, then the man's teaching must be wise. Again, we meet a dilemma: who is to decide what is good or bad for us? If we go in this direction, we can even discredit Aristotle. In the Middle Ages, it was the teachings of Aristotle that prevented new knowledge from being discovered. A classic example is when an acquaintance of Galileo refused to look at the moons of Jupiter through Galileo's telescope. The reason he gave was that there cannot be moons around Jupiter since they are not mentioned in Aristotle's writings. Immediately we can refute this: how can someone born 2,000 years ago be blamed for an existing stupidity? This is acceptable of course, but still does not help us to define wisdom or wise man.